If I could, before you begin your introductions and the lovely conversation over the table, on behalf of Elise, Nelson, and team, we welcome you this evening. We'll have some introductory comments shortly, but first let's start with this video.
I am a woman.
I am a woman.
I am a woman.
A single voice.
Many have doubted what I'm capable of.
But I saw a problem in my community.
I saw the women of my country being left behind.
The women in Kuwait did not have political rights.
Women were getting raped and they were not getting any justice.
I made a choice.
I made a choice.
I made a choice.
To take action.
I've been able to get justice for child abuse victims.
I help women and their families earn a living where they live.
I've helped more than 27,000 women into business.
I've mentored women so that they're now part of the decision-making process.
We campaign to obtain full political rights.
We've been able to...
I made a film.
I provide the Iraqi
I am a single voice.
I am a single voice.
I am a single voice.
And I will be heard.
Amazing. Absolutely. Come. My name's J.R. Kerr, and this is Kathleen Kerr. We work together. We represent Handshake strategies. We actually kind of help stand up spaces like this and work with people like Elise Nelson and Shelley Lyford, who you'll hear from shortly, Cardinal Baggio from Rome, who's joined us this evening. It's one of the best things about Davos. You get all sorts of people from all sorts of places, but maybe most importantly, focused on some of the seminal issues of our time. And if I think coming out of this last 18 months, I think we can say that there is a crisis of leadership and that women will in fact need to fill the void that exists. Vital Voices has been doing this forever. I often say to Elise that she's forgotten more about how to raise up strong leaders than I'll ever know. And that's meaningful to me and meaningful to us because we have 3 strong daughters that we want to keep growing stronger, and a really strong young man as well. Feminist young man, yes, of course. And actually, one of our daughters is here, actually. We brought him to Davos. We brought her to Davos to kind of see it in real life, right? Say hi, Maddie. It's a family affair. We created this place this year because we felt like there was a number of themes that needed to be tackled at Davos that actually weren't on the agenda. The VLab stands for 4 words. Virtue, actually. This afternoon, we kicked off with Mass in this space. With Cardinal Baggio and Father Dan Grudy from Notre Dame. We talked about the need for virtues on the global stage, the need for courage on the global stage. Tomorrow we kick off the Vitality Sessions, which is all about transforming healthcare, reforming dignity and aging and all of these sorts of things. We're gonna have Velocity Sessions, which is all about AI, but doing so responsibly and socially, kind of giving the soul back to AI. And then actually, lastly, on Wednesday night, we'll have the Victory Sessions, where we're talking about the role of sports and diplomacy and development, actually, which will be really, really important. But beyond these types of conversations from a professional level, Vital Voices for us as a family is personal. My wife's on the board and has actually, council, my bad, and has actually been working on one of the more consequential, I think, partnerships with Estee Lauder. And I wanted her to talk a little teeny bit about that, even though she absolutely hates public speaking. But there's no way that the dude could do all the speaking, so.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, I think I need a Vital Voices leadership training because I get a panic attack every time someone gives me a microphone. But just a quick word on the Estee Lauder partnership. We worked with Vital Voices to launch in 2021 the VV Visionaries, which is an amazing program training women leaders, the next generation of women leaders all over the world. And since we launched it, we've educated over 400 women leaders. And in 2024 alone, they went on to touch over 52 million people in their communities, which I think really speaks to the power of Vital Voices and the network and the people in this room. And I think we're always looking for the next great idea to advance the cause. And I think hopefully it comes from this room tonight.
I don't know, you did pretty good, right? Don't you think? I thought you did awesome. We told you that for exactly that reason. We create these spaces not so we can talk about it because of what you can do coming out of it. So let that be an imagination starter for you. With that, one of our great partners in this space this year is a force of a woman, Shelley Lyford, CEO of the West Health Foundation, looking to disrupt aging in America, but to also remind us of what aging and dignity looks like globally. Shelley, would you come up and make a few comments, please? And our host of the space, absolutely.
Thank you. So it's so great to be with old friends. JR, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I have the great privilege of serving as the chair, CEO, and trustee of West Health and the Gary and Mary West Foundation. We're located in San Diego, and we also have offices in Washington, D.C. One thing that we do at West Health is we look at the high cost of healthcare, and we think about how we can improve aging in America. Because dignity, as we age, should not be a privilege. Everyone should have access to dignity. And I'm delighted to be here tonight amongst all of you who share many of the same values that we do at West Health. And if there is one thing that unites all of us in this room, it's that we have never shied away from a challenge. We are bound together by grit, by determination, and by the belief that change is possible. I'd like to take just a moment to recognize every single one of you. You have overcome adversity. You have faced danger. You have done extraordinary things in your own communities, in your own country, and around the world. Thank you for your courage, for being a change maker, and for being an inspiration. I'm often asked who inspired my path, and I've been fortunate to have had a mother and a coach who shaped who I am. So many of us share a deep love for our moms, women who are selfless, deeply human, and who are courageous leaders, even though they never had the title. My mom instilled fearlessness, resilience, and a work ethic grounded in results, not recognition. As a lifelong competitive equestrian, I had a coach from the age of 5 years old, and she taught me that shoveling horse manure was just as important as winning the trophy. She taught me how to be competitive without losing my humility. I learned how to get back on the horse after I fell, and believe me, I took a lot of falls. Further, I learned at a very early age what accountability was. I had to take responsibility for something more than myself. And then, of course, there's my North Star, Mary West. Together with her husband, Mary doesn't just give generously. She has reimagined what philanthropy can be. At West Health, we've deployed over $600 million to change the trajectory of aging in America and ultimately the world. And we're not stopping there. Our differentiator is that we have built a novel model of comprehensive philanthropy, an integrated approach that unites grant making, applied medical research, operational accelerators, data platforms, and policy action. As the co-founder of a 50,000-person global company, Mary saw that the dream of a better future was being threatened by the high cost of healthcare. And that is the fault line that breaks families at their most vulnerable moments. Yet, in the face of these challenges, I remain a kinetic optimist. I believe in urgency, in action, in disrupting what is broken. And I know that everyone in this room does too. And you live that way every single day. I don't believe that healthcare and aging are crises to be managed. They are opportunities to be seized. And I believe in a future where getting older means getting better. So let's use the kinetic optimism in this room, and let's continue to catalyze solutions and improve human lives. Here is a toast to all of you and to what we will achieve together.
Thank you. Great job. Awesome. And the woman who needs no introduction, the great and inestimable Elise Nelson.
Thank you so much, JR. Shelley, thank you as well. I, too, grew up with an absolute badass of a mother who at 82, almost 83 next month, continues to surf every week. Yeah, even with osteoporosis, which makes us a little nervous. Anyway, welcome, everyone. I'm so thrilled that we know you have so many options when you come to Davos, so many wonderful dinners. Thank you all for being here. It means so much to us. We wanted to create a space, this beautiful circular space, where we could bring icons together across industries, across sectors, but with them, extraordinary women leaders on the front lines of change. Women that we at Vital Voices, and me for the past 3 decades, I started when I was 12, I did, I swear, that we have had the privilege of working with. Women who are truly taking on and chipping away at the world's greatest challenges. And I think all of us would agree that this past year has been the most difficult on record. So many women's rights and opportunities have been rolled back. We've seen a continued rise of autocracy, a rolling back of democracy, and with that, of course, women's rights, women's advancement. 47% of women's organizations around the world, particularly in crisis zones, went out of business, closed their doors over the last year. 47%. Think about that. All of that care, all of that support, supporting the most vulnerable, gone. It's not just about US government funding. It's not just about, other governments around the world. It's political will. It's cultural change. And as JR said, and I firmly believe, which is why I've been doing this since I was, a tween, is that women lead differently. And that difference that women bring is precisely what our world needs today. Now, we know there's a plethora of problems and challenges, but tonight we're not going to talk about them because I think all of us know them, and that's why we're here at Davos, to try and solve those, make things better. And you're going to hear from some of the extraordinary women leaders we work with. We've not only brought together icons and heroines on the front lines, but also a few great men. Men who've been extraordinary allies, and men who we need more than ever. So I want to invite you all to start with your dinner. We're going to have appetizers to start off with, and then we'll have a discussion. So I'll be back. Thank you. Okay. Listen, we have some incredible people in the house tonight. One person you may recall that back in 2015, when he became Prime Minister of Canada, I think it was his first press conference, the press were like, I don't understand. What is this? Why have you made half of your cabinet women? Why have you named women to half your cabinet? What were you thinking? And he said, because it's 2015. And do you have any idea how long we use those words? How long we said, because it's 2015. So thank you for your leadership in action and in words. But on a more serious note, I really want to thank former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for what he did in 2021. In 2021, Vital Voices had been working for about 25 years with women leaders across Afghanistan. And as you all recall, the Taliban came in and we had gotten a list. Sherry Weston from Sesame Workshops knows well, in the trenches with us, a list of women who were on the kill list. Women who had risked everything for democracy, but they were not going to be evacuated because they had not worked for the US government. They had not, been in their military. And so we worked alongside one of our founders, Secretary Clinton, to evacuate 1,200 women leaders and family members. Those were all of the women on the kill list and all of their immediate family. And we brought them to Albania, but then we had to figure out where do we do with them next. And luckily, this prime minister said, we will take up to 40,000 Afghans and permanently resettle them in our country. Yes. I think all but about 8 of them went to Canada. So thank you. Thank you. Otherwise, they would. Yes. And they are. We started encouraging people to go to Canada, dare I say, but truly, because, better than the United States, just because we knew they would be treated so well. So thank you so much for your courageous leadership and for being truly the ultimate voice of solidarity. We're so thrilled to have you here and want to invite you to say a few words.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing from so many other people. I'm not going to speak for too long, but I just want to say thank you. And what an honor it is to be included in this Vital Voices gathering, this incredibly difficult time we live in the world, where there are so many reasons to despair or to lose hope. It is more important than ever that we be gathering as extraordinary women leaders, as allies, to make sure that we are pushing hard on the right things. The actual, the answer that it was 2015 was a short form for it is the right thing to do, but it is also the smart thing to do, to uplift women in leadership. And I don't know how many times I've had to say that over the past 10, 12 years as a proud feminist, as someone who understands that the challenge we're facing in the world right now are not so much resulting in pushing women and marginalizing them and going back on women's rights. Part of the challenge we're facing right now is because women have been pushed to the side and marginalized and quashed down in their rights. And this is a moment more than ever before for us to be standing up and saying, no, the kind of world we need to build starts with women leadership. It starts with doing the right kinds of things to understand what is in the fundamental human need that isn't being met for millions, billions of people around the world. People need to feel connected to each other. People need to feel like they have value to contribute to the community and to the world around them. And those two things are exactly what is most under stress in this moment of anxiety, in this moment of everything trying to knock down individuals, particularly trying to knock down women's in positions of leadership or making a difference. And that's where organizations like this one, the work that each of you individually, the work that we all do collectively to make sure that there is a counter force against the despair that so many people are rightly feeling when they look at the world stage. It is a dark moment right now, but every conversation I have with an extraordinary leader, an extraordinary activist, someone who chooses to step up and shape her community for the better and the world for the better, gives me the unbelievable optimism that I have. We have been through incredibly dark times before as a species, as civilizations. This is a tough one, but we're going to get through it because of every single one of you and because of everyone who we represent as we're gathered here in this room. So it's a true privilege to be here. Thank you for everything you do. I would be remiss to not point out the two extraordinary women in my life here tonight. Katy Perry, who is amazing, who everyone knows, and I am head over heels in love and inspired. And Katie Telford, yes, I have two Katies in my life, it's complicated. Katie Telford, who was my chief of staff for 10 years as Prime Minister, the longest serving chief of staff in Canadian history, also one of my very best friends in the world, and a huge part of why I was a successful feminist leader, because she understood that you add women, you change politics, you change the world, and she is the example of that for me. So thank you, Katie.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, let's have dinner and I'll be back. Okay, everyone, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt, but I will. Because I want you to hear from some of the extraordinary women that Vital Voices works with. So Manira Alva from Vital Voices, who's here somewhere floating about, told me about a study that came out last year from Gallup. And actually, I know Gallup is one of Handshake's great partners. And the study asked people all over the world, when it comes to leadership, what is the greatest thing that you need from your leader? And far and away, the biggest thing that people said was hope. That was the biggest thing that they needed. And I think in our world right now, with all these growing inequities and divides, we have too many leaders that are spreading fear. And what we need is the leaders who spread hope. And I feel like I'm so deeply blessed to work with so many incredible leaders who show me what leadership is. And one of them, a few of them are here tonight, but one of them, Nika Kovic, I want to ask to say a few words, particularly about resilience, because man, oh man, this woman is resilient. She has led some of the most impressive campaigns in Slovenia, her home, but she has broadened them beyond her home in Europe. She has crossed divides and brought people together, understanding that you cannot make change just working with people who you agree with on every single issue. You have to find common ground across our differences. And by the way, this year, in fact, just a few days ago, she was named Slovenia's Person of the Year. And what she said was, I got the men's award because pretty much it's always given to a man. So I'm so thrilled to welcome you, please.
Hi to all of you. I'm losing my voice a bit, but I will handle these 2 minutes. I wanted to tell you a story about a very unusual friendship, because I think that when we want to change the world, we need to find unusual friends. I am leading an organization called Institute 8 of March. We are a group of very crazy girls fighting for our rights, wearing pink, throwing glitters around, wanting to be like happy and joyful. And usually people don't understand us at the beginning. And a couple of years ago, somehow by mistake, we ran into one of the most conservative religious communities in Slovenia. It's a village which was for years basically destroyed by one company, which was firstly producing asbestos, so a lot of people got cancer and died, and lately they were burning waste, so people were getting lung cancer. And this community somehow found us, and they said, no one wants to help us, not politics. We think you're crazy enough to do this project together. Can we stop company from polluting the air so we stop dying because of cancer? And they're all like in their 65s, 70s, like these big men who are like working their whole life. And we said, yes, we will do a campaign. And at the beginning, it was terrible. Like, we didn't agree about anything. We were fighting all the time. We realized that we don't agree about a single thing. But then in one moment, we realized that even though we are annoyed by each other, we deeply love each other. Because we spent so many hours together, because we did so many things together, and we started to respect each other, no matter how different we are. At the end, after 2 years, we changed the law in Slovenia. We stopped the company from burning the waste. And when I came to the city, like, they were waiting for us and clapping, and they said, like, we love our authoritarian prime minister. They didn't say it in that way, but we also love you and your crazy girls. And to basically finish up the story, we did one of our campaigns in last year, which was for anything they disagree with. But in that time, I got a lot of death threats. I'm attacked at home. It's really, really hard. And I had a speaking engagement in a village next to them. And I was speaking about topics which were not close to them. So I really didn't expect them to show up. But I came, and there were these 10 men, 10 really old guys, like fully muscled, sitting angry. And I came to them and I said, go away, we will not agree. And they looked at me and said, they're saying they will beat you up, and we will beat up them if they do anything to you. We will support you. And for me, this is the purpose of the work that I'm doing, finding solidarity, finding community, and basically seeing human in each other. And you never know, maybe you get 10 conservative guys defending you on events if you stick with them. Thank you so much.
Nika, thank you so much. I now want to ask Jaha Dukare to say a few words. Jaha to me, epitomizes what true leadership is about. You go through something that is unspeakable, and you decide, I'm not just here to fight for myself and pull myself out. I am here to make sure that others don't have to do the same. So thank you for your courageous leadership in the Gambia and actually throughout Africa. And we're honored to have you as part of our network. So please.
Thank you. Hi. Hi. I always tell people that I am who I am because I was raised around some of the strongest women. I remember Elise when she was at Vital Voices before she became the head of the organization. And I remember, I was very young, but when Secretary Clinton embarked on this journey, I come from the Gambia, and most people in the world know me as the FGM girl and the child marriage girl. I come from a tribe in the Gambia where 100% of women are subjected to female genital mutilation even before they can speak a word. I was a child bride twice in my life. And I remember when I joined the Vital Voices Network, and at the time I never thought I would be at Davos. Now I work for a tech company, but the reason why I always show up when you call is because you've seen me through it all. When I was fighting to get FGM and child marriage abolished in my country, Vital Voices was there with me. The first event I organized with the State Department was because of you. When religious leaders were trying to kill me, Vital Voices was one of the only organization that was there with me. Every time I get in trouble, I know that there's one person in this world that I can call and they would pick up, and it's Elise. And because of that, I know how necessary this organization is. It has been there for me in my darkest hours. And I don't think I would be standing here if it wasn't for Vital Voices and the network of support that I have. And today that I'm working in tech and genomics, part of the reason why I'm doing that, because I think women like me need to earn the kind of money so that we can continue funding this movement in the most authentic way. A lot of people don't understand or realize how necessary this work is. But at least you know how many times I've called you when I was in trouble. And you've done that in Afghanistan, you've done that in Sudan. So everyone that is here, it's not just talk. There's a lot of organizations that do a very good job of selling themselves. Vital Voices is not one of them because I am one of the women they have supported since I was a teenager. And the different cycles of my life, they've been there. So thank you. And it's an honor to be here with all of you. And I'm very, very grateful for your role and contributions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think, one of the things that we definitely pride ourselves on at Vital Voices is making sure that we are not just there on the best days, because we all know leaders have a lot of best days, but also on the worst days. And yeah. Roxana, I know you just arrived. Would you like to say something? I mean, we're so thrilled to have you here. No? Okay. Okay. We all know that there's so many great challenges when it comes to the advancement of women right now, and I know so many political leaders are being targeted. But this historic moment that is difficult is also meeting a historic moment that is incredibly powerful, and that is the great wealth transfer and the fact that 70% of the trillions of dollars that are flowing will go into the hands of women. Now, last year, I heard this phenomenal woman, Ida Liu, speak about this, and I basically stalked her for a year. And I'm so thrilled you're here tonight. And I want to invite you to shed a little light on this, because I think, well, let's see, where can I go to get over to you? Because I think it gives me tremendous hope, because one of the things that I certainly know is that when you connect women leaders on the front lines, those like Nika and Jaha, with leaders who have influence and resources, it's endless what we can do.
Thank you so much, Elise, and thank you so much to your extraordinary leadership and the leadership here at Vital Voices and everything that you're doing. It's really commendable, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. So I'm Ida Liu. I'm the CEO of HSBC's Private Bank. I have been in private banking for the last 20 years, previously with Citi, and I've had the privilege of working with the largest families around the world, solving their complex wealth management and legacy needs. And one of the things that I'm super excited about is that we are at a very, very instrumental and pivotal time right at this very moment. We are in the midst of the largest wealth transfer in history to next generations, to millennials, and to women. And as Elise said, that 100 trillion that is flowing this direction, with 30 trillion of it moving to women's hands, means that in the next 5 years, women are going to control over 50% of global wealth. So 50%. And what makes me even more optimistic and more excited about the future is because next gen, millennial, and very importantly, women are investing very differently. They're investing with purpose. They're investing with impact. The alpha isn't about percentages and basis points. It's about, what did I do for the world? What did I do to make the world a better place? Am I creating the right legacy, the right impact for my kids, for my grandkids? So it is an extraordinary opportunity, and I couldn't be more enthusiastic about what we're going to see in the decades and the years ahead. But one thing is for certain, we all have to educate. We have to empower. We have to elevate women. Because, you know, in this period between my prior role at Citi and the 6 months before joining HSBC, I can't begin to tell you how many women have reached out to me. I did a webinar on Investing 101. We expected a couple thousand people to join. It was hundreds of thousands of women globally who joined. And that is clear to me that we have a void in educating women. And there's also a clear gap between access for women as well. So it's not just about education, but it's also about the opportunities. What kinds of investment opportunities are women seeing? Are they seeing the direct investment opportunities? Are they seeing the co-investment opportunities? No, they're not. So again, we have a long way to go. I'm very optimistic about the future. I'm really, really excited about what's going to happen. But we do need to lean in, and we need to educate. And again, we need to elevate, and we need to provide those opportunities for women. But I'm looking forward to moving the needle with all of you, and thank you so much for having me, Elise.
Thank you, Ida. I want to ask our great partner here from Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Lindsay Hans, to build upon that. We created this phenomenal, yeah. Oh, bringing the women of money and wealth and finance together. So we built this incredible partnership together under the leadership of the great Anne Finucane at Bank of America, where we paired women of influence and resource and contacts with extraordinary women creating impact around the world. And it was electric. And we continue to see the impact of that. But I would love for you to expand upon what Ida said and, you know, just about the partnership.
Sure. Well, I'll come up here for 1 second. I don't mean to be rushing you. Ida said it so well. I won't add other data statistics, but it is such an area of hope, as you mentioned, for all of us. And women, our women clients are seeking advice. They're seeking community. They're seeking intimate, safe spaces to be able to talk about their journey. Many of them, as Ida mentioned, are inheriting wealth, and many of them are also creating wealth at levels that we've never seen. And they haven't always felt that they've had a seat at the table to be able to ask the types of things that matter to them and they're on their mind. And so, like Ida, we are so focused on our women clients. The Global Ambassador programs, if I could give a plug for that, I know it's on pause, but I was the beneficiary of an opportunity to help in that program, and was partnered with an amazing woman who's bringing books in the Amazon community to places that there's just no books. And what I learned in working with her through the program was she's leading her company, I was leading a business, and we had actually some of the same challenges and couldn't be more different in what we do every day, but how she was working with people, how she had an operating plan, how she was getting buy-in for what she was trying to do. And so I just want to thank you and the entire team for that program. It was wonderful, and just thank you all for having us tonight. It was great.
Thank you. Well, I'm leaning on my wonderful, she's like, what? No. I'm leaning on my wonderful board member here, Sherry Weston, who, if you don't know her, is a phenomenal leader, head of Sesame Workshops, working with kids, girls all over the world. Just to say, I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just going to introduce you. But I think that what is so exciting right now, and I always believe that crisis is an opportunity. And, although we at Vital Voices face tremendous crisis with, all the international development cuts, at the same time, what emerged was this incredible opportunity. That rather than try to plug all the holes that we see, why don't we look at the 100 most influential women leaders across our network? Those who are impacting the lives of thousands, millions around the world, and deeply invest in them. Those women who are too vital to fail. Women who are taking on, peace in the Middle East, Israeli and Palestinian mothers who are like, enough. As a mother, you can't be on this side, you can't be on that side, because no mother brings a child into this world wanting them to be a killer or to be killed. No mother. And when you think about those kinds of women, world-changing women, whose, as you said, their day has to come. We are so excited about the opportunity to pair them with extraordinary women leaders who are coming into this tremendous wealth and power, and really, I think, build off of what we developed through the Global Ambassadors Program. To close the evening, I want to turn it back over to our wonderful partner, J.R. Kerr and Handshake Strategies, just to ground us, because we are in a crisis of leadership, as you said at the beginning of the evening, and we need a way out, not just talk, but action.
Agreed. Thank you, Elise. Can we just thank her again? So we have a special guest with us here this evening, Cardinal Baggio, who's from the Vatican. I'm going to call him up in a second, but I'm going to do a little context, because Cardinal, last evening as we had dinner, you spoke very specifically to the crisis of leadership that we face and the way through, is what I would say. Pope Francis was a remarkable man, a mentor to Cardinal Baggio, a mentor to, I think it sounds like, former Prime Minister Trudeau, and to many of us, actually, for a bunch of reasons. Actually, Brian Moynihan spent a bunch of time with him, CEO of Bank of America. He had a real vision for how to use religious institutions to do more than just preach at us, but to actually compel us to act. I think is probably one of the primary things that I took away from the time that we got to spend with him. And one thing that he did was to take part of Castel Gandolfo, which is the very historic, beautiful summer residence of the Pope, and dedicate 55 hectares, which is actually more land than Vatican City, and dedicate it to becoming a model of Laudato Si. Laudato Si was the first encyclical he wrote. It actually came out in 2015, right alongside of the SDGs. If the SDGs were the nation states, member states of the UN's vision for how to fix some of the world's biggest problems, Laudato Si was the soul. It was the moral vision that we needed to accomplish these goals. Pope Francis, along with his team, Sister Alessandra, who's not with us, speaking of a really powerful woman. She probably should be here, not us, huh? Cardinal Baggio, I think so. Cardinal Baggio, Sister Alessandra, Cardinal Czerny, and they took 55 hectares of land and turned it into a model for sustainability, a model for circularity, a model for education. But more than just that, actually, they've dedicated it to bringing people to this place, to actually executives, students, to actually study what kind of moral and courageous leadership is needed for the world today. Cardinal Baggio is leading this initiative and has invited a number of us. Elise has been to see it and to hear from the Holy Father himself. He's invited us to come and be part of this vision. And so we thought it'd be great, Cardinal Baggio, if you could just speak to this leadership crisis and the vision that Pope Leo now has and has given you for how the church and how we should respond to this in faith. Could you come up briefly? Thank you.
Thank you. It's been quite a long day. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah. And I think many opportunities to speak to different people, but we are talking about the crisis of leadership, something that came up last night during our dinner. And just looking around, what we can see, I think we can affirm clearly that we need leaders. And I'm very happy to be here tonight and sharing with Vital Voices, where new leaders are coming with different voices from the one that we heard from the past decades. And voice of peace, voices of love, of care. That's what we need. I do believe that recalling Pope Francis and all the words that he was using, changing even the narrative that we normally use in the Catholic Church, he was talking a lot about the culture of care, the culture of encounter, and being so kind to the other, using all the words that normally are not used in the leadership program. When you talk about love, care, taking care of, and this is exactly what we need in this world. We need leaders who are able to take care. And this is why I'm happy to know also about the stats and the data coming up. I'm very happy about it because I'm convinced that we need a lot of female leadership coming in. And it's and thank you for being here, and thank you also the experiences shared that are just feeding these dreams that we're going to have today, not tomorrow. Today, this kind of leadership, which is shared, because I do believe that everyone should put on the table all the capacity that we have, but at the same time also looking to a different way of doing things. We're a mother, as it was said, no. A mother just thinking about the best for the children and not the worst, not thinking about killing or war. And this is something that at least we should all agree, but it seems that it's not like this. Now, I would like to invite you all to come to the Borgo Laudato Si, this wonderful place in Castel Gandolfo. I know that you have chances to go to Rome. It's just 37 kilometers away. 45 minutes by train from Termini, so you just come if you want and stay with us, maybe half a day, and walk in the park. It's a wonderful place. We have wonderful gardens, but it's a place where the Laudato Si is put in practice. We are restoring relationship with nature, restoring relationship among ourselves. And this is also very important, repositioning ourselves where we really belong. We are not owners of this world. We are just administrator, and we are accountable administrator of this world. And for those who are believers, God, at the end of the day, will made us accountable on how we perform. And it was not just about how much money we raised. It will about how we took care of the rest of humanity and the common home that we have. And this is something that, a message that we would like to convey through the beauty of the gardens and people coming here. And I would like just to conclude with something which is, for me, also very important, because we were sharing in the table some of the personal things. It was about my name. But I didn't tell you that my mother was very proud because she was able to choose my name. My first brother got the name of my two grandfathers. No? So, and then it was the time of a second born, which was it was me. So I say, I want him to call Fabio, and it was no one in the family called with the name, but she insisted and she got it. What I didn't tell you that my mother passed away when I was 6 years old. My brother was 7 and the little one was just 18 years old. So my family was my father and the 3 brothers. And I was always thinking during my life, how much, why in my life the female presence has been so important. And I was thinking, just because I missed that presence, which is very, very important, because you really know how important is somebody or something when you don't have it.
Thank you, Cardinal Baggio. One last closing thought. That was really impactful. Thank you for being here, Elise. Thank you. Vital Voices is such a great partner. I can't overstate how committed we are to you, no matter what comes, sincerely. We're so grateful to be in this space with you. Elise and I were recently in Rome, actually, with Cardinal Baggio, kind of exploring this project. And so we are inviting you to it. The world needs to take some time, I think, to step back. And what we heard, I think, there, and actually we heard from Pope Leo, was to actually step back and to listen and to be quiet. And that will help us find the way forward. And I guess just one closing thought, I thought of this as you were speaking. So many of our heroes in lives are the women that come before us. And last night at this dinner that we had, which was the right way to start Davos for us, I was reminded of my favorite coin in the world. It's the 2-pound coin in England. On the edges of the coin is a quote. It's standing on the shoulders of giants. Actually, if you find the coin, it's literally etched on the side of the coin. It's an Isaac Watts quote. And I would suggest that the women that you've pulled together are giants. Giants. And this is a world that needs giants. So thank you. Have a great Davos. Take care.